Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the back stitches on this little ladybug. So I finished up the rest of the black from the last time, and now we're going to do the legs and the two antennae using back stitching. So if you look at your chart, whichever one you're using, it'll actually tell you on here, give you sort of instructions how to do it. Blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. It can be a little confusing, I think. Basically, all we're doing is just making lines with our thread. So when you do a back stitch, it'll also let you know most of the time whether you need to use one or two strands. Most back stitches, if it doesn't say otherwise, it's just one strand. We're going to pull out one strand, just like we do with all the other stitches, except instead of finding the middle and turning this into two strands, we're going to leave it as one, and we're just going to do this the old-fashioned stick it through the needle way. If you can't get it to go through, you can take the end and just put it in your mouth. It makes it a little bit pointier. And then try to thread it through the needle. It can be, I think I got it. There we go. So we want to pull it through a couple inches. And then just fold it down. So then down here we have one strand on there. You might want to plan where you're going to start, because you're going to want to put, I'll show you in a second, but you're going to want to go ahead and run your line under some existing stitches, and then in this case you might come out here and go down, and then you'll come out way down here and go back, and then you'll have to come out way down here and go there and then jump somewhere else. I don't really want to do that. I would rather start down here somewhere and work my way back up, and then I can jump up here and start kind of in the middle. Jumping around, it can be just weird with back stitches. It's not quite as easy as jumping around, just jumping across a row. So I'm going to start down here on the bottom right at this black square here, and what I'm going to do is actually start not on this back stitch, but I'm going to start right here, so I can go down, then I'll come up and go back, then I can go back down and do this one. Let me show you. Right here is where I'm going to come up. One to the right, right there, one to the right of the bottom of that black. So when I push my needle through, that shows me where I'm going to come up. So I'm just going to wiggle it and make that hole a little bit easier to see. So what I'm going to start off doing is running my thread up under a few stitches here, just like that. I can pull the rest of this through. Pull my needle through, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail sticking up about like that. So you see I've still got a little tail sticking up past where I ran my needle through. That's where I'm going to try to secure this thread, since I'm not actually going to be stitching back over it. So I'm going to go back through that hole, and be careful here, don't pull your thread tight and pull it all the way through. You've got this tail, so once you get your stitching started, you can go back and pull this tail and pull it tight. So you don't have to worry about pulling it too tight right now. So now we're down here where we were going to start. And we look at this stitch, and it's kind of hard to see the grid on here the way the light is, but it's 1, 2, 3 stitches down is this leg, straight down. 1, 2, 3 stitches down, put the needle through. Same thing here, we haven't really stitched a lot yet, so we don't want to pull it too tight. So we've got that first part of the back stitch. Look back at your pattern. We're going to go down and over 1. So this is 1 block diagonal. But we want to come up from the back side, so we actually want to come up right here. So if we were to look at it from the back, we want to go down 1, and we'll actually go to the left. So we look at it from the back, down 1, over to the left. Push your needle through, pull your thread, And I do like to watch it to make sure I'm not pulling it too tight. You can tighten it a little bit more there. Okay, then needle back through there. That's that part of the leg. And then we're going to go up from the back and come up right here. So if we flip it back over, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and come out right at the top there. Pull that tight. Now we're at the point you can pull it because we've got enough stitches in here. You can go back to this tail, you can pull that first one tight. So then we're going to go up and over to the left because that's the last part of that leg. Up and over 1. So now that we planned this, so we're ending right against the body there for that leg, we can go to the back and just jump all the way up here and come out. We could come out right there and do the same thing we just did. And actually I am, because this down here we had 3 parts to the leg. Up here we have 4. So if we come out right against the body, we can go over, we can skip that 1, go straight down, do the same thing we did down here, jump back up, finish that one. So we're going to do that same thing. So let's make a note of where this is. This is the next, right at the bottom of that top red stitch. So it's going to come out right there. So if you want to, you can put your needle in there and wiggle it around a little bit. Try to make that hole a little bit bigger. So you can look at it from behind. It might make that hole a little easier to find. It might not. But we got it right there. Bottom of the top one. So we're going to pull our thread through. We're going to go up and over 1. Up 1, over 1. So that's 1 diagonal stitch there. Pull the thread through. Now, like I said, we're going to skip this 1 over. We're going to come out there and we're going to go all the way down. Now this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches down and 1 over. So we're going to skip over 1. We're not going to stitch this one. Oh, and my thread came out. This is one problem that you have with doing threading this way instead of threading the way I like to do it. Is your thread, it's easy, a lot easier for your thread to come off. And then you'll get your end is all like that. You see? So I'm going to wet my fingers and just kind of straighten it back out. Pull it down as close as I can to my fingers so I've got just the tip of it, and then it makes it a little bit easier to get it through. So we'll pull that back through and try this again. So we're going to go over 1. We're going to try not to pull our thread out of our needle that time. There we go. So then we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And that is going to get the long portion of that leg. So we still have 1 more at the bottom. It's just over 1. So we want to go over here, go over and come out on the other end of that back stitch, and then go through the bottom of that leg. We come out up here, so we flip it over, or I like to flip it over. I like to see what's going on the back. We're going to come out on the top, go over 1, and we're back behind. So that's 2 legs on here now. If we look at the back, the way it looks with the back stitching, you're going to have some longer strands usually, especially if you do it like I do where you just jump to the next one. And that's okay. This is only 1 strand. You don't really want to jump when you're doing outside things like this. I personally don't like to jump like from this tip to this tip, because if I wanted to, for some reason or another, if I was making this into a magnet or something and I wanted to trim really close around these legs, I might end up cutting through that thread, and I don't want to do that. So I want to try to jump, make my jumps as close to the body as I can. So we're right there. Our next position is another 3 legs, so I actually want to jump right here and go up and do the same sort of idea I did down here. So I'm here. I want to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 2. So when I flip this, it's going to be kind of backwards. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1, 2. And I'll flip it over and check and make sure I got it right. It is. It's right between those two black ones right there. That's where I want to be. And now this stitch is going to be up 3, and then the one at the top is going to be a diagonal over. So let's do that real quick. Pull it through. 1, 2, 3, up. And then this top one is a diagonal over. So I'm going to come out on the other end of this stitch. Pull it through. Go down. Top part of the leg. Come back out down here at the bottom of this stitch. And then this last stitch was straight over. So I'm going to continue jumping around and finish the rest of these legs, and you guys can just watch me in fast motion. So we got the last back stitch in. This is a very simple example of back stitching. Sometimes you'll back stitch around an entire project, you'll back stitch inside the project. It can get quite intensive with back stitching, but that should be a very good, easy example of what you're wanting to accomplish. So once you do your last stitch, you will fasten off the same way. You'll just find a few stitches here. You will run your needle up under them. I usually do at least 3. 3 seems to be a good number. Run your needle up under them like that. Pull your thread through, and then you'll trim your ends and you're ready to go. And that is the end of this project. Next time I'll show you guys with this how you can wash it, and you see we've still got some creases in here, how you can wash it, and then how you can iron it to try and get those out, get out any stains, and then if you're going to frame it or whatever you're going to do with it after that, it'll be ready to go. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys next time.